everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream on Twitch from 5 PM Pacific time in the United States, 10 AM in Australia and 1 AM in the UK. We're going to continue working on our Art Deco building. We're doing a cinematic fly-through using the Unreal Engine 4.16.1. We're creating an outside environment, the Art Deco building and the interior of the building for our cinematic, so we can fly through the environment, then around the building and then inside the building and back out again. This is the building we are working on, and this is the building in Max. We're bringing bits and pieces in and rebuilding it in Unreal. This is our Unreal level. Let's just go through the bookmarks very quickly. Again, I'll go full screen and we can just jump through the bookmarks to have a look at our environment that we've created so far. Again, this is the back of the building. We have this environment that runs around the outside. It's just a small pond in front of the actual Art Deco building. This is our main gateway. So our camera is going to start here before we fly through the gate and down the garden path. And this is our garden path. So our camera will come through here. Again, I'm just keeping an eye on OBS. It is having a couple of problems with Unreal Engine at the moment, the new 19.02 version of OBS. This is a second terrace before we actually get to our Art Deco building, which is this one here. And this is what we're going to continue working on today, just working on the outside at this stage before we get to the inside. Let's just jump out of full screen. Alright, so we've been working on our Art Deco building. Now, you guys that were watching yesterday saw me working on the doorways here for the building and some of the frames for the windows. Now, all I've done last night was I added a couple more reflection captures so that we could get proper reflection happening on our windows of our environment. And just make out that tree there, which is that tree up there. So we have a reflection capture here for our pond, but I had to add a few more around the building so that the reflection would be captured in the windows. So that's basically all I did. Oh, and I fixed up some of the normal map problem, the normals problems we were having with our doors. So let's continue on with our building here. I'm going to... Now, we were working on these wooden sections here for the top of the building, and I thought we could reuse that for the larger sections of the doorways, but they don't really match up, so I'm going to have to export out a separate mesh for the wooden slats here at the top of the door. Unfortunately, we can't reuse the ones we're using on the front of the windows here. So I'll have to do the ones for the doors, and the ones at the side here are also a little different. So the ones that sit above these windows are a little different as well. You can see that, I don't know if you can actually see it there, they don't actually match up correctly, so I'm going to have to remove that and export one made specifically for that window. That's okay, it's a relatively low poly anyway, that mesh. Alright, so let's jump into 3D Studio Max. And let's do the one for the top of the door here, I think. So I'm just going to go into sub-object mode here and deselect this from the rest of the mesh. Or detach it, I should say. We'll call it front door wooden arch. Again, too, this mesh is really low polygon. Not the mesh is low poly, but the texture is also very low. we're going to be retexturing that in Substance Painter. So I'm just going to isolate that mesh for a minute. And I'm going to clean up my mesh here. Forgive me guys, I made this 6 years ago for UDK and some of the work is a bit sloppy. So we're just going to fix up our mesh really quickly. Hey Adrian Newen, I think it is. This is 3D Studio Max. Oh, not Max, the other program. The other program is Unreal. So the Unreal editor 4.15, 4.16.1, so UE4. That's what this is. And that's what we're going to be creating a cinematic in Unreal. We're going to create a cinematic fly through of the Art Deco building. So yeah, I'm assuming you mean this is Unreal. Now all of these trees and plants are actually wind animated. I can't turn it on. I'll turn it on briefly, but OBS really doesn't like it, so we'll just switch it on for 2 seconds so we can see the trees moving. So yeah, all of the plants are actually wind animated in Unreal. I'm just going to switch that off because OBS drops frames when I have real time turned on. But we'll have it on when we create our cinematic, we'll have it turned on. So that's what that is. And remember, Unreal is free to download, guys. So, you know, I'm on Twitch to encourage you guys to do 3D. So download the program and play with it. It's free. You can't get better than free. I'm just going to move these in and tidy up this mesh a bit. Yeah, it doesn't matter that it's sort of moving our UVs here because we're going to be texturing it in Substance Painter in 2 seconds. This is really sloppy here. I don't know why I made it this way. It was just bad on my part, so nothing we can't fix up within 2 seconds. There we go. So yeah, go to Epic Games website, download Unreal version 4, the new Unreal engine, and check it out. Play with it. It's free. All right. So we have our mesh fixed up here. Crosswind, hey. When you're talking about the Unreal, what are you saying bar for, Crosswind? What are you talking about here? What's all hidden away? I don't understand what you mean. What is hidden, Crosswind? Explain. Let's do an unwrap on this mesh because we have to take it into Substance Painter. So I'm going to just throw down a flatten mapping. Around the edges of the frame. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. The window piece is sticking out. You're quite right, it is hidden, and that's probably why when I made the original mesh 6 years ago, I didn't bother cleaning it up because, yeah, when you see it in the building, it's actually hidden inside of the brickwork, so... But hey, we're working on the, fixing up the assets, so we may as well make it look right. It's sloppy on my part. I really should not have left it like that, though. You know, if you're going to do it right. Don't take shortcuts like that. You saw how quick it was for me to fix it up, but you're quite right. It is normally hidden in the mesh, so it's really not a big deal. Now that we've unwrapped it, you will see that our UVs are messed up because we're going to retexture it now anyway. So let's export this as an FBX so we can take it into Substance Painter. I'm going to put it in my Windows folder, I think. I'm pretty sure that's where we've put them all. And we'll call it Front Door Wooden Arch. Good to see you, Crosswind, too. Let's jump into Substance and create a new project. Select that. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Front door wooden arch, that's the one we want. Now I'm going to remember this time to, actually, you see the problem we're having here again? I've noticed this quite a bit with some of the assets I'm bringing out of Max. The normals are inverted. You notice, no problem, Crosswind. You notice in Max that it isn't inverted, but it's going to be a problem when we bring it into Unreal. So I'm going to throw down a normal here and a unify and flip my normals. I'm going to collapse my stack, and while I remember, I'm also going to make sure that my pivot is in the middle of the object. And I'm going to do a reset on the X form just to make sure the size is correct. Because otherwise, when you bring it into Unreal, sometimes the mesh can be really tiny. So let's just export it one more time. I'm exporting in FBX, Crosswind. Yep. You guys that watched my streams when I did the Baroque Garden Terrace, you know I generally like to export as OBJ when I'm working with Mari or with Eon View. But Unreal seems to prefer FBX. I think you can import OBJ as well, but I'm working in FBX. Oh, you always have problems with flip normals and crazy stuff with OBJ? Actually, I'm the opposite. I've never had problems with flip normals and OBJ, but FBX tends to flip them occasionally. Where am I? So yeah, when I work in Mari, I generally prefer to work in OBJ, but because we're working with Unreal and Substance, I'm working in FBX. Both formats are good. OBJ is just a little bit more universal. Like all programs will open OBJ. Sometimes you can have problems with FBX because there's so many different versions of FBX now, like there's 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. Every time Autodesk update Max or Maya, they update the FBX version as well. And you can sometimes run into problems if you export out as, say, the latest version of FBX, which is, I think, 2017, maybe even 2018 now. Because some programs won't import that correctly, which is why you'll notice when I do my FBX export here, I always export it as version 2013 of FBX, because I found that's the most universal. I don't generally have too many problems with other programs working with the 2013 version of FBX. I don't work with the 2018 version or whatever it is with the new Max version for that reason, that you can have problems. Did I export that? I can't remember. We'll find out. Let's edit our project configuration and reload that mesh. I did. Okay. And now our normals are all good. Now, before I forget, because Sidad reminded me yesterday, I'm using a smart material to make sure that the colors on all of these pieces match each other. Let's just go into our smart materials here. I'm just going to make them large so we can see them a bit easier. And I have actually created a smart material called window paint, which is this one here. But before I can use it, because it uses a generator in Substance Painter, I have to make sure I bake out the world normals and all that sort of stuff. I'm just using the low poly mesh as the high poly mesh. Let's go back to our shelf. All right, now I'm just going to drag my smart material into my layer stack. And I'm going to remove this blank material layer that it creates, Substance creates automatically. And the generator I'm using here is just to do some edge wear on the side of the wood here to make it look a bit worn. So So it's just basically a green wood material, green paint, a wood material with a green paint, and then a bit of edge wear using a generator. All right, let's export that now. Just before I do the export, I want to change my material name again. So I'm going to call it F-Door Wooden Arch. Make sure we set our path to our proper directory. Whoa. OBS just dropped, my upload speed just dropped way back. Anyway, let's keep going. Models, Art Deco building, exports, Windows, UVW fixed. Now I'm going to export this as a 1K texture. It's big enough, I think, for what we need. If we find later on that it's too small, we can come back and export as a 2K. Alright, let's jump back into Unreal. I'm just going to be a little distracted while I keep an eye on OBS over here, guys. It was actually funny because I logged into my Twitch account this morning and I wasn't following anyone, no one was following me. It was bizarre. It was just a bug that happened in Twitch. Okay. Let's import our mesh. And it's called Front Door Wooden Arch, that one there. Alright, now if we look at the mesh, you see it's using the original texture we had in Max. So what we're going to have to do here is swap out our shaders. I think it's this one here. So let's import the textures we just exported from Substance. So we want the color map, the metallic map, the ambient occlusion map. I'm not going to take the normal maps in because, as you see, these normals are coming out green. I've got to look at why Substance is doing that. What I'm going to do is take it into null to bring in the normal map. And we want the roughness. Come on. Color, metallic, ambient occlusion, roughness. Now let's drag them into our shader. There must be a reason that Substance is creating green normal maps. I'm not sure why. It's something to do with the generator, because if I don't use a generator, it's fine. It's not a big deal, but I would like to work out why it's doing it when I get a bit of time. Just going to hook up my color here to the proper color channel, or color texture map. And while we're here, I'm just going to jump into Null. Now, Null is a great program for creating normal maps from color maps. That's KNALD. I'm just going to load up the color map we just exported and create a normal map from that. Update the integrator. Our path is correct. Let's export. Yeah, normally when you're using Substance Painter, you don't have to worry about doing your normals in a third-party program because generally it creates normals for you. It's just at the moment it's creating normals that are the wrong color. So let's bring in that normal map we just exported. Now there is another issue, another thing to keep in mind with your roughness map that you bring in from Substance Painter. Generally, I'm just going to remove it from our shader here at the moment and go into our roughness texture. It'll come in as an sRGB. I suggest you deselect that so that otherwise you'll find that your shader is very shiny. Now, it can work really well, and I've used it left on for things like the banisters inside the building, that cherry wood woodwork that we're going for. So I want that to look very varnished and shiny. But these window frames I don't. So I'm turning off sRGB just in the roughness map. I wondered why it was asking why I wanted to close it down. It was because I have my shader open. I forgot about that. All right. Let's pull in the roughness map again now that we've changed it from sRGB. So we want our metallic, our normal, our roughness, and the ambient occlusion. Let's save that shader now. All right. Now our shader, our mesh should be looking correct if I can find it. Front door wooden arch, this is it here. Yep, and that looks right. Again, it's a little shiny, but if I hadn't changed that roughness from sRGB, that'd be mega shiny. It'd be really varnished looking. Let's pull our mesh in. Now, I've angled my building here. As you can see, it's not sitting straight. I've done that so that when we have our camera animated, it makes a nice silhouette. It does make placing these things a little bit more difficult. So I'll leave it as it is at the moment, but I think what I'm going to end up doing is rotating our building back to being at 0, 0 square. It'll just make moving our assets into place a little bit easier. And then we can rotate it back once we have all our pieces in place. But let's get this piece positioned first, I think. Because you see our axes are a little bit off, because the axes are actually meant to go a normal way, but when we rotate our model, they're going to start to go off. So it just makes positioning things a little bit more difficult. Not impossible, just a bit more difficult. Okay, again, we scaled up our building when we brought it in, which is why I'm not doing a uniform scale, that's why. Which is why these assets are a little smaller. Okay, the rotation looks like it might be a bit off. And we have to bring it back a little bit, and the rotation is still a little bit off. Okay. I'm actually going to, now what I've done here is, for this building, I've all of my assets in my level, that includes all of the plants as well, I placed into their own folder. It just makes, it cleans up my list a bit, makes finding things easier, and it will also make working with this building easier. So I'm just going to find that new wooden arch we just brought in. This one here. I have an Art Deco building folder. Let's pull this down. And wooden arches as well. So I'm going to drag that wooden arch into my wooden arches folder here. And that's in a subfolder underneath of my main Art Deco building folder. If I select all, so if I go select and then all descendants, you see that selects my entire building now. And I know from the building, if I look at my, let's just deselect it. If I look at my building itself, I know I have a rotation of around about 64.9 degrees. That's off of where it should be when we brought it in. So if I select my entire building again, I can rotate my building back to being front on, so it's easier for us to work in. And then I know when I want to rotate it back to the way it is now, I just have to go to about 65 degrees here. So you see that selects all of our building. I'm just going to jump up here so I can get a higher view of it all. So just temporarily while we're working on it, we're going to rotate it around and then we can bring it back again once we've finished working on everything on the outside. It'll just make positioning things easier. And yeah, just putting everything into its own folder like that makes it easy for you to select everything as opposed to going through and doing it one by one. Like, you know, you can go through and you can select them all individually that way, but yeah, that's a better way to go. Alright, so we've squared up our building again, which should make placing these a bit easier. I'm just going to copy this asset or duplicate it to the back. I'll turn angle snap on and we'll do a 180 degree rotation. You see how it just makes it much easier for me to move my pieces around. Okay. No, we'll work on the interior once we've done the exterior of the building. So we need one for the sides here as well, and I have a feeling we can use the one we just exported for the sides. Let's see. I think this is the same. Again, I'm going to turn angle snap on and do a rotation of about 90 degrees. Let me just rotate that slightly more. Oh. Make sure it turns snapping off. There we go. May just scale it in just a bit as well. Okay, let's make another copy for the other side. Again, let's do a rotation of about 180 degrees. Looks like it needs to be a bit higher. Now the ones on the side of the windows here, I have actually placed a copy of the ones we used at the front, but they're not matching up, so I'm going to remove these and export another one from Max, one that's actually meant for the sides here. Front is okay. Just these ones on the side, because you can see that these slats here don't match the slats in the background. Okay. Let's just save everything so we don't lose what we've done. And jump back into Max. Let's get out of isolation mode. And just grab one of these ones from the side here. Again, I'm going to detach one of these. Again, we'll go into isolation mode so it's easier to select. I'll clean the mesh up, but I want to detach this bottom window frame here because we don't need it. Alright, let's start by making sure our pivot is centered and our X form is reset. Let's clean up our mesh. There we go. We'll do the same thing again now. We're going to throw down an unwrap so that we can do a remapping on it. And again, we're going to do a flatten mapping. Let's export our model. What are we going to call this one? We'll call this one side window arch. I don't think I used that. I'll just put a T for top just in case I use that for one of our windows. Before I forget, I'm just going to create a material, a blank material, and I'm going to call it side window arch M for material, and I'm going to assign it to that mesh. I'm only doing that so that I don't have to rename the material in Substance Painter. You know how we had to rename the material before I did an export? Doing it this way, I shouldn't need to do that. Let's find out. Let's export it as an FBX. Side window arch T, not T, side window arch. No T, that's right. Top. Okay, let's jump into Substance. Let's save this one in case we want to come back and up the resolution of our texture at any stage. And this one's called F door wooden arch. New project. That's all we want. You see that our side window arch T texture name has been changed automatically. I don't have to do it again. That's because we changed our material in max, but I did forget to do the normal, so no big deal. Let's just collapse our stack as well. Export our mesh. We'll edit our project configuration to reload the mesh again. Let's bake our textures. Do remember, guys, if you've got any questions, anything you're not sure about, anything you want a bit of clarification on that I'm doing or that you're doing and you want some help with, feel free to pop into chat and ask me. If I can help, I'm happy to try. If you just want to pop in and say hi, that's always welcome. If you just want to watch, that's completely fine. Okay, let's throw our window paint texture down, our generator, a smart material. Remove the unused layer from the top. Let's save our project before I do an export. And we'll call it side window arch T for top. Alright, now we can export our textures. I really wish Substance would remember the last folder I used. Again, we'll make it 1K, should be enough. Let's just jump into nulled. I just want to make sure, I want to create a normal map for that color map we just exported. Side window top. Where is it? Oh no. Side window arch M, that's the one there. The reason I'm doing it now is I have all my normal settings set up for the normal map, and I want to make sure that all of the Windows normal maps look the same. So to save me remembering my specific settings here, I'm just doing them all while I work on them. It's just easier. Export that normal map. That way I don't have one window that the normal map is stronger than the others, if you know what I mean. Okay, let's jump into Unreal. Import our model. Side window, where are we? Side top window. That's all we want there. Okay, let's open up our shader. It created a parameter because it had no material and max assigned to it. It was just a base color. That's why there's no texture there. Let's import our texture maps. So we want the color map, the normal map, the metallic, the ambient occlusion, and the roughness. Just going to get rid of that parameter, we don't need that. So we have our color, a metallic, a normal map, our roughness map, and our occlusion map.